hear the term race soldier, first thing that probably comes to your mind if you're living over here in America as a black person is one of these racist cops that shoots and kills unarmed black people and gets away with it. But we got to really analyze and look at what the term race soldier is and where do some of them come from? What are the organizations that they are originally a part of before they go on to become law enforcement, military, sometimes judges, lawyers, and even doctors or teachers? Let's look at what some of the 10 gangs throughout history that have been founded by some of these white supremacists. Let's get into this. White supremacist gangs are nothing new. They offer protection and unity against perceived danger and appeal to people who feel under threat from change. These gangs rely on racist rhetoric and a false sense of security to recruit new members. Once they cross into criminal enterprises, they ignore their ideology in favor of money. The only color that really matters is green. And that is a full of shit statement, the last sentence. When they engage in criminal enterprise activities, they're dealing with other groups or races. Better believe that they keep that white supremacist ideology at the forefront no matter what. Might have a few here or there that will stray from that, but make no mistake, it's all about maintaining, furthering, and extending white supremacy. So that being said, let's get into the first one on this list, and it's going to be a group known as the Order. The Order is the most dangerous domestic terrorist organization in the past 30 years. Their goal: overthrow the U.S. government and make the nation 100% white. Between 1983 and 1984, they got into counterfeiting and armed robbery to fund their mission. In July 1984, they had their most successful heist, stealing $3.6 million from an armored car in California. They also murdered talk show host Alan Berg and any member they thought might rat. Founded in 1983 by Robert J. Matthews, the Order only amassed 20 members, but their story has become legendary to white supremacists. They're seen as having been willing to do what others only talk about. Their legacy has inspired countless acts of violence, even copycat organizations like the St. Louis-based New Order. Order is now defunct, bullshit, but they continue to influence white supremacy through their reputation and propaganda. All right, let's look at this before we move on to the next one in this scumbag alabaster list. In order for these guys to pull off that kind of heist and hold up an armored car, just think of the weaponry that they had to have. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them were former cops and ex-military by just looking at this and the description of it. And you see, you think about it. We've got white supremacist training camps all across this country, but law enforcement won't focus on that like they do any gang with black people, Hispanic people in it like that. Oh no, that goes right up under the radar. Fact of business, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to one of those training camps called Operation Werewolf. Everybody needs to pay attention to that. Time to do some homework and get you gained up on some of these white supremacist groups out here so you know what you're up against. Recognize some of the attire they wear, hand signals, so on and so forth. That being said, let's get into the next one. Number 9, the Black Legion. Black Legion was a secret society that terrorized Detroit in the 1930s. They perpetuated violence against African Americans, Jews, Catholics, welfare workers, and labor organizers. Founded in the mid-1920s as a security force for the Ohio Ku Klux Klan, they operated under a paramilitary structure, which most of these groups do. 5 brigades, 16 regiments, 64 battalions, and 256 companies. At its peak, the Black Legion had 30,000 members, with 1/3 living in the Detroit area. The membership was mostly comprised of lower-class Southern whites who migrated to Detroit in search of work. They were confused and angry that foreigners and black people were taking their jobs. Oh, poor guys. They were rightfully that were rightfully theirs. Black Legion is believed to have committed 50 murders in Detroit alone. The organization fell apart in 1936 when a gunman named Dayton Dean broke ranks. He and 10 others were convicted in the murder of labor leader Charles Poole. The romantic era evaporated and the organization disappeared. Bullshit. All they did was regroup, change the name, change locations. That's all they ever do. Let's look at something before we move on. Got to pay attention to that paramilitary structure they have. You look at how many members this thing had, 30,000 members. That lets you know that they had to be in all different types of professions, in every level of law enforcement, ex-military. I mean, you just think about that now. Think about that. That's what we be trying to tell a lot of our, black brothers and sisters that come over here from other countries, like immigrants, whether you're from the Caribbean, Africa, wherever you're from. Racism is more than just name calling. Take a good look at this and you see how structured this organization is when they get ready to commit terrorist acts against mainly us, black people, anywhere. Let's get to the next one. Okay. Number 8, Linwood Viking. 1991, a federal judge described the Linwood Vikings, a clique of Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies. Y'all get that? A clique of Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies as a neo-Nazi white supremacist gang. He awarded a $9 million settlement for racially motivated violence. In 2016, a corruption probe, former Undersheriff Paul Tanaka came under scrutiny for his involvement in the gang. Pay attention to this now. Pay attention to this. Tanaka, who is Asian, claimed there was nothing inherently racist about the organization. He still sports the Viking tattoo. Deputy gangs are nothing new to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Oh, I bet they're not. In 1971, Little Devils emerged out of East Los Angeles Station. Recently, crews like the Grim Reapers of Lenox Station or the Regulators of Century Station have appeared. Sheriff's gang unit, known as the Jump Out Boys, have come under scrutiny for their tattoos. A red-eyed skull with a bony hand over a revolver. Smoke is added over the barrel once a deputy has shot someone in the line of duty. Let's look at a couple things here. Look back up at this beginning paragraph here, talking about the guy Paul Tanaka, an Asian. Tell y'all something, man. Y'all better start understanding that when these groups that come over here that are classified as white get here, the first thing they do is click up against us and join Team White Supremacy. That goes for white Hispanics, some Asians, all these other groups from these other countries. They get over here, they click up with Team White Supremacy. Okay, and let's further look at it. I want y'all to pay attention to something. See down here where it's talking about get these tattoos if they kill someone in the line of duty, and you know who they're trying to kill most of the time, black people. They have these rituals that they perform to celebrate these things. Everything is based off ritual with it. So in this particular case, they add smoke to the tattoo, signifying that you killed somebody. Just imagine how many of these groups are in law enforcement departments across America right now. Let's get to number 7. Keystone United. Oh yeah, let's get into these guys. Founded in 2001 in Pennsylvania, Keystone United is one of the most notorious white supremacist gangs in the eastern U.S. In 2009, they changed their name from the Keystone State Skinheads and rebranded themselves away from the stereotype, oh wow, listen to this, of alcoholic thugs and violent drug addicts. Yeah, right. That's all these bastards ever are. Alabastards at that. They even hold picnics and other family-friendly affairs. However, their habit of racially motivated violence and murder contradicts their presented image. Recently, a chapter leader was charged with criminal solicitation to commit homicide. Keystone United have become strong supporters of the commander-in-chief, Donald Trump. Their signature tattoos of a white pit bull were a common sight at Trump's campaign rallies in Pennsylvania. Don't say. That's some of those very fine people he was talking about, I guess. Pennsylvania has a long history of white supremacy, and the whole country does for that matter, not just Pennsylvania, and its own brand of Rust Belt racism. It first appeared during the Great Migration when Southern African Americans came north looking for work. Many chose to intimidate the new arrivals rather than compete. Let's look at that. That's all they ever do, because if they don't have a system that they can cheat with and murder and steal from people, they can't compete with anybody. That's all they've ever done throughout history if you know your history and look back at it. Even now in the recent present, look at the scandal where they're paying people to graduate their dumbass kids because they have a little bit of money because they're too stupid to intellectually compete with other students. But yeah, that's pretty much what white supremacy does. It's one big cheat code. One big murderous cheat code. Let's get to the next one on the list. Number 6, the 211 crew. The 211 crew emerged in the Colorado prison system. It started as a protective society for white inmates. Racism was the main recruiting tool, but ideology took a backseat to crime. Did y'all hear that? Ideology took a backseat to crime. Their empire soon spread out onto the street. Some claim their name represents the police code for burglary. Others believe it is a numeric code for BAA, or Brotherhood of Aryan Alliance. Y'all pay attention to this now. Y'all need to go back and study this. I'm going to put a link in the description. This is very important today. Hear the terms white supremacy and we think about racism, but we need to know what these groups look like, their mannerisms, their hand signs, their attire, everything about them. We need to pay attention to this nowadays. They are known for their signature tattoo, 3 interlocking arms forming a triangle. Center of the triangle, 2 fist clutch lightning bolts. 211 crew is known for targeting law enforcement. Oh, and we're supposed to be the ones that they're in fear for their life. Every time they see us and we just existing, they're in fear for their life. Their own people that's killing them. Like, people don't shoot at cops like that over here. That's their own people. In 2013, a member fresh out of prison, Evan Ebel, is believed to have stalked and murdered Colorado prison chief Tom Clemens. Stalked and murdered him now. Ebel died 2 days later in a police shootout in Texas. In 2016, member James Guoli received a 28-year sentence for the attempted murder of a Colorado Springs cop. See? Number 5. Oh, look at these handsome fellas right here. Ew. Jimbo, Buck, Bob, and Billy Joe. Look at them, man. Yeah, each one of them probably date their fucking sisters too. Alabaster fuckers. Anyway, the Aryan Circle emerged out of the Texas prison system in the 1980s. It now has roughly 1,400 members distributed throughout Texas prisons, federal prisons, out-of-state prisons, and on the street. They operate under a paramilitary structure. That in mind, most of these groups do. One unique aspect of the gang is that women, pay attention, women can become full-fledged members. So before we go on, all you jackasses out here running around talking about Becky and Snow Bunnies, you better keep this shit in mind. You might be dating one of these motherfuckers. Most members come from lower socioeconomic circles and use their gang activity to supplement paychecks from blue-collar jobs, particularly in the Texas oil industry. Texas places all known Aryan Circle members in high-security one-man isolation cells because they're cowards and they get their ass whooped on the yard for the duration of their sentence. The gang is gaining notoriety by being featured on most wanted billboards and TV ads throughout the state. Aryan Circle has had a tumultuous, periodically violent relationships with other white supremacist gangs. They're still on the same team. They also suffer from a drug problem. The gang deals in methamphetamine and members are drugged. Alright, let's look at something right here where it was a bit disingenuous with it. They're talking about most of them come from lower socioeconomic circles. If you're working in jobs like the Texas oil industry, that's not really a bad paying job. And furthermore than that, for the ones of them that are in this gang, they're not running around with a hand to mouth. These people, it ain't about money. These bastards are well funded. So, let's get right on down here to the next one. Number 4, the European Kindred. Look at this joker. I'm a bastard. The European Kindred are the most feared white supremacist gang in the U.S. Pacific Northwest. Founded by David Kelly in 1998, the organization soon grew beyond the Snake River Correctional Institution and spread to all 4 medium security prisons in Oregon. That's another thing, y'all better get out of these states, man, where ain't nothing but a bunch of white people up there, because that's home base for these people. You better come down here down south with the rest of your people. All this trying to move out the community and all that bullshit. You better understand the politics of the neighborhood you're moving into. Nothing wrong with moving into a good neighborhood, but you better understand what's in these neighborhoods. Moving right along, 2001, the European Kindred began expanding into a Portland street gang. Members are now found in Arizona, California, Colorado, and New Mexico. Even the gang's founder admits it has grown out of control. Street-based members are so drug-addled that politics and ideology become an afterthought. Top members run the gang from tables in prisons and a series of clubhouses on the outside. In 2001, the European Kindred came to the public's attention when a 21-year-old member murdered a black man in a Portland housing project. Since then, the European Kindred have had their hands full with meth distribution, dog fighting, home invasions, identity theft, rape, and murder. See what we got running around here? They don't profile these bastards. Oh no, they don't run up on them and just bust them for no reason. And notice they never fear for their life enough to shoot these people like they shoot unarmed black people over here for just existing. Number 3, look at these guys. Pay attention to their attire and how they look, haircuts, everything. Volksfront. Founded in 1994 by Randall Lee Krager. Volksfront quickly spread out of the Oregon prison system. There's Oregon again for you, and across the state and international lines. Chapters open across the United States, Canada, Europe, and Australia. This is why we tell y'all white supremacy is global. They are known for their deep racial hatred and anti-Semitism, which they back up with violence. One of their goals is to establish autonomous white-only zones. Y'all hear that? Establishing autonomous white-only zones. For all you black people up there running around in these white majority states, could be walking into danger. You better understand the politics of the areas you're living in, trying to run away from black people. They have made inroads with land acquisitions in Oregon. Land acquisitions. So they're just snatching up land wherever they want to, huh? Volksfront is a key player in the hate music scene. They organize festivals as recruiting tools and to establish group solidarity. Infighting and violence have taken their toll on Volksfront. The 2012 massacre of a Sikh temple by Volksfront affiliates caused irreparable damage. Krager has abandoned the group. Infighting among his successors has severely damaged the group's integrity and cohesion. Mike Lawrence, their East Coast leader, publicly distanced himself from Volksfront, claiming the movement will forever be plagued with a collection of pedophiles, sociopaths, misfits, and, in his words, retards. They all suffer from that last word that he used, and they're degenerates. These people are not human. There's a big difference between a regular white person and a white supremacist. That's what we're trying to get y'all to understand. Let's get to number 2. The Hammerskins. Pay close attention to these guys right here. Emerging out of Dallas in 1989, the Hammerskins set out to unify hate groups. Their goal was to establish themselves as a modern, embedded revolutionary force in the United States. Their reach now stretches far beyond Texas and into Europe. The Hammerskins have proven extremely effective at recruiting young members. The key strategy to this is their official publication, Hammerskin Nation. They got their own media. That's why we need real black media, y'all. They have their own media to spread propaganda and recruit with. You need to understand these people. They are the enemy, and they are in multiple professions in America and across the world. Let's move right along. And their white power rock concerts. The Hammerskins are one of the most violent white supremacist crews in the world. Wade Michael Page, who attacked a Wisconsin Sikh temple in 2012, was a patch member of the organization. He killed 6 and wounded 3 before killing himself in a shootout with police. All white supremacist groups have problems reining in their soldiers, but Hammerskins might have cracked the code. Hear that? They are not only still active, but they appear to be growing. Let's get to number 1 here. Oh, look at that. Picture of some of Agent Orange's fine people. And all of them probably inbreeding like a mother. Alabastards, alabitches. Founded in 1987 by Screwdriver singer Ian Stewart, Blood and Honor emerged from England's skinhead music scene. Stewart grew tired of the far-right National Front, claiming that they were becoming racially tolerant and exploiting skinhead music for their own ends. Along with band members from Brutal Attack, Sudden Impact, No Remorse, Squadron, all white supremacist hate group music band, Stewart laid out the groundwork. White supremacist movement. Group took their name from a Hitler Youth slogan. Their logo contains the word blood and honor, along with a triskelion which resembles a 3-pronged swastika. After Stewart's death in a car accident, may you rest in peace, you racist son of a bitch. In 1993, Blood and Honor began to fracture. One faction remained loyal to propaganda through music, the other promoted terrorism and assassinations. Both claimed to be true inheritors of Stewart's message. Blood and Honor now serves as an umbrella organization for a constantly shifting group of white supremacist gang alliances. So you see, that's 10 of the groups that we got out here oppressing and killing our people. I'm going to put the links to this article description. And before I close this out, Black family, you got to understand. All these petty differences we got against each other, this gender warring, all this nonsense we got going over politics, religion, all manner of that foolishness has to go out the window. We got to get on code, family. These guys are not playing out here with us. They actually trained, they're well funded, they're in every level of our society. And for our Black brothers and sisters that come over here that are immigrants, let me explain something to you. We got these types of people running around. Either you with us, or you gonna go over there and start all that cooning and stuff that y'all have going on. And when these people come after you, do not look for help from Black society. Come over here and turn your nose up at people because you don't understand the politics of where you've moved to. You set yourself up to be a target, because at the end of the day, no matter where you claim you're from, these people don't care about that. They only see you as Black. So I'm going to make sure that, like I said, I drop this information down here. You guys check this out. Be careful out here. Be safe. And as always, I will catch you next one. Hold it down, Black first. And keep on making sure that you keep your head on a swivel out here and protect one another. Peace, family.